Hi, my name is Romy. Welcome back to Start Page. Today I'm going to be filming my recent ARC reads wrap-up, with the recent being a loose term because some of these books I read a while ago and just did not review them, and also I haven't filmed the video in a while. So, recent ARC reads wrap-up. First book is Belladonna by Alexene. So this story follows 19-year-old Signa, who was orphaned as a baby when she was the only surviving person left after a poisoning at a party thrown by her parents. So at 19, she has been passed around to a string of guardians who are more interested in her family wealth than her well-being. Suddenly, the elusive relatives called the Hawthorns send for her after her latest guardian passes. However, the patriarch of the family is mourning his late wife and his daughter is dying from the same mysterious illness that killed her mother. So Signa must team up with Death himself, who has been in her life for as long as she can remember, to save her cousin and solve her aunt's murder. So I gave this book 3.5 stars. I feel like the book was generally okay, but my biggest issue was the romance between Death and Signa, because Death has known Signa since she was a baby, because when he came to the party where everybody died except Signa, he saw Signa there and Signa saw him there as well. Like, even though she didn't remember everything because she's like an infant, she saw him there, he saw her there, and then he has been with her and has been checking up on her periodically throughout her whole life. So every time a new relative gives her up, or a new relative dies, or she almost dies because she has a thing where she can't die, Death shows up. So he's been there since she has been a child, and then when she's 19 we learn that they were like fated lovers or whatever, and I'm like, no, it's weird, I don't like it, I'm not a fan. So that was my biggest issue, and that's why it couldn't have been anything higher than 2.5 stars. Yeah, other than that, the book was also mystery because she has to find out what happened to her aunt, and then once she finds that out, she knows what's happening to her cousin and she can save her. So I feel like the mystery solving element was pretty interesting. I feel like that was written well. I feel like her bonding with her cousins was also well done. So yes, it could have been great. Actually, you know what, as I'm talking, I'm changing my review to 3 stars. It's gonna be a 3-star because that romance between Death and Signa, I'm not here for it, and I'm not gonna get over it. So yes, 3 stars for Belladonna by Alexene. The next book we're gonna talk about is The Witchery by Isabelle. This book takes place in a school for witches called Mesmortes in a witch town called Halesford. The story follows 4 witches, 3 black witches called the Red Three, the most powerful witches at Mesmortes, and 1 white new baby witch that gets initiated by the Red Three to join their coven. These witches are forced to work together with 2 non-witch boys to stop the annual killings in Halesford. I had been hearing, like before I requested the arc of this book, I was hearing so many good things about this book. I was hearing so much hype. I was like, black witches, sign me up. This book was such a disappointment, such a waste of my time. I swear, if I have high blood pressure, if I have to live with high blood pressure for the rest of my life, it's because of this book. It was so frustrating and I hated it. I gave it 2.5 stars, and that was me being generous because some stuff were interesting enough to make it not be 0.5 stars or 1 star or even 2 stars. It was interesting enough, but those were periodically thrown between and they were way too short. But added up, it gave me 2.5 stars. I was let down so brutally, I got flipping whiplash. Okay, there were way too many POVs. Every main character, we got the Red Three, the White Witch, and then the 2 non-witch guys, we got a POV, and I'm pretty sure we got a POV from another character somewhere down the line. It was too much, right? And then the switching between the POVs, it was very disjointed. It didn't flow seamlessly. It was not well done at all. Too many POVs, the switching, and they didn't even add anything to the story. Because like some of the POVs, it was like, so it was so that the reader, us, could be let in on secrets that one character has that the others don't know, because all 4 of the witches, no, all 3 of the Red Three have some kind of secret, and then the non-witch guys also have some kind of secret, and then this other character who is thrown in has this other secret. Is that all of them had some kind of secret, and the readers need to know at some point, but the other characters don't need to know, and that's why they had a point of view. It was not needed. It threw off the timing of the story, and it wasn't blended together well enough for it to work. I also had no idea why the Red 3 decided to take Logan in as their friend. Because first of all, it's supposed to be this friendship thing, but they didn't even seem like friends for the whole time that they were doing whatever the fuck they were doing. And then Logan was just there complaining about how she don't have magic, how her magic is not great, and you know how she's a legacy witch and everybody else in her family has great magic but she can't do it. And then she's comparing herself to the Red 3, and then even the other witches in the school, she can't do magic. Oh my god, woe is me. Girl, shut up. And then she was complaining about how she don't want to be a witch, and then she's doing all kind of foolishness to like either get out of trying to do magic or to increase her magic, and she's just so annoying. And I don't understand why what the Red 3 thought they were doing in bringing her into their little coven, because there was a reason for them to talk to her and to want to use her to end the killings in Halesford, but it was not enough of a reason for them to actively bring her into their friend group or try to bring her into her friend group, because it wasn't written well enough for her to realistically have been in her friend group. Like, there are lines in the book that make it like the author wants you to think like, oh, think that she's actually friends with them, like best friends with them now, but you reading it, you're seeing that they're not friends. Like, they don't give a fuck about her. Yeah, and then her magic was shit, and then she wasn't actually interested in getting better through legitimate means. She would get something and she's like, oh my god, it's gonna make my magic so much better, and then she's like, that's mine now. And then she's just so annoying, and she was doing the stupidest things. Like, every time a new chapter opens, even if it's not her point of view, this girl, Logan, that's her name, find some way to annoy me and to be stupid. And then now, the reason that the Red 3 wanted Logan to be their friend is because she was important in ending the killings in Halesford, right? But why do the Red 3 want to end the killings in Halesford? I don't know. One of them want the fame, the other two, I don't know, because none of them are from Halesford. None of them feel comfortable in Halesford, and I don't think any of them are planning to stay there after they solve the killing. So what are they doing it for? Why are they so invested? Why are they risking everything, like literally everything, to save these people? I don't know. Also, my final issue with this book was the 3 black witches, right? The Red 3. Like, in some of their points of views, there were like 1 or 2 lines about how the people in Halesford only see them as a black woman, and they always have the stereotypes of them, and they have to play into the like everybody wants them to play into the stereotypes, and they don't actually know them, and they have to face racism and whatever. But then the actual written interactions between the Red 3 and the citizens of Halesford, none of that is shown. Like, I understand, you know, they're black people in America and they're gonna face some kind of microaggression and some kind of whatever, but it wasn't actually shown in the book. And then the characters are in their head talking about, oh, I have to suffer through so and so from these people in Halesford, and then the actual story is not showing that. So I don't think it was well done. So yes, The Witchery, waste of my time. I do not recommend it, and I don't know what the other people, because people I trust were hyping this book up. Some of them were just hyping it up before they read it, so like they haven't actually read it, and then some of them had read it and were giving it rave reviews. And I'm like, should I still be trusting you? Because this was absolute crap. So anyway, moving on. Cali by Daniel Freedman and Robert Sammelin, I think that's what I wrote. This is a graphic novel about Cali, who is going on a revenge rampage after being betrayed by her biker gang. So this was very short. I gave it 2.5 stars. The story, it was pretty short and pretty straightforward. I was a fan of the background art, like the setting and stuff, but the actual character art, I didn't like it. I thought it was ugly, and it wasn't even like an interesting ugly. I just didn't like it. And I'm no brilliant, I'm no Van Gogh, I'm no, who's an artist, oh my god. I'm no Picasso. But like, I didn't like it, and that's my taste. I wasn't a fan. Also, the pacing of the story that we actually saw, that was fine, because it was literally a straightforward plot. This girl gets betrayed by her biker gang, literally stabbed in the back, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go after them and I'm going to kill, she literally says, I'm gonna kill every single one of them. And then she's on her way to do that, and at the end of the book, like, it was like 200 pages of pictures. Obviously that's what a graphic novel is, but it was really short, it was really straightforward. That itself was fine, but I feel like we are missing background elements that would have helped the story, and because we didn't have the background elements, it was like we were just missing so much that it wasn't enough that the straightforwardness and the actual action of the story wasn't enough to make up for the missing pieces. And also this book is very graphic. I recommend looking up trigger warnings for that. Next we have Valentina Salazar is Not a Monster Hunter by Zoraida Cordova. I also had high hopes for this book because I have read 2 Zoraida Cordova books, I think, and I love both of them. The synopsis of this book is it's a middle grade book. Valentina's family are monster protectors until her father was killed in a rescue mission gone wrong. Valentina and her remaining family members move to a boring town where they have to forget the monster protecting business. Valentina struggles with this, unlike the rest of her family, and when a viral video of a mystical egg surfaces, Valentina convinces her siblings to help her find the egg before the monster hunters do. So I gave this book 3 stars. I had a really hard time getting into this book initially. I'm not really sure because there was nothing wrong with the writing, and I usually enjoy middle grades, and there was nothing overtly wrong with Valentina, but I don't know what the problem was. I just struggled to get into it. After a while, I got over it. I know I said there wasn't anything overtly wrong with Valentina. I'm taking that back. Actually, no, I'm not. Because there's nothing wrong with her, and she was a child. So obviously she was childish. She's making some of those stupid decisions because her brain is not mature. But I didn't like her. I just found her annoying, and that's maybe my fault. That's a problem with me. But I didn't like her. Also, her siblings were also kind of annoying. Yeah, the magical creatures was what I was most interested in. The descriptions of them, I'm highly interested. You know, if you got one of those, you know those books where it's like the encyclopedia of like dragons and stuff? If Zoraida Cordova was going to make a little book for encyclopedia of magical creatures that she made up for this story, I would read that. I would buy that book because I was so interested in the creatures that she was going to create, like the explanations and the lore behind each creature, and then the lore behind the magical world that the creatures are from. That was the most interesting part for me. So that's why I ended up giving it 3 stars, because I found that so interesting and I didn't give a fuck about Valentina. So I'm so sorry. The next book, Bad at Love by Gabriela Martins. This story we follow 2 MCs, Sasha, who is an intern at a gossip magazine, and Danielle, who moved to LA and joined the band Mischief and Mayhem. Sasha gets a scholarship offer from her boss if she can get a decent scoop on Danielle, and Danielle is a false bad boy, and he enters a bet with his band members to go on a date and get a girlfriend, who he chooses Sasha to be the girlfriend, right? So we follow these 2 as they fall for each other, as Sasha tries to get the scoop and Daniel tries to win the bet, right? I give this book 5 stars. I feel like Gabriela Martins is going to be an author for me, because this book was so cute. It was just quick, simple, cute. Mwah, I love it. Romance, that's what it's supposed to be. I don't need all kind of foolishness going on. It was amazing, and it was a short and sweet romance with lovable characters. I loved watching the romance between Daniel and Sasha develop. I just feel like it was so cute, even though both of them were having their own little issues on the side, and I'm like, oh wow, that's cute. So while I was praising Sasha for, like, you know, trying to get that bag, trying to go to school, doing what she has to do to get her money to go to college, to get her dream job, I was also like, girl, come on, get out of Daniel business, like, leave this man alone. But like, I don't know, I was rooting for her, but I was also cussing her off just a little bit. And Daniel, his bet was kind of stupid, but he did actually like Sasha from the beginning. So I'm like, okay, do what you want. Oh, let me explain something. So Daniel, in Mischief and Mayhem, the paparazzi give him an image, and everybody believes that image is who he actually is, even his band members. And I don't believe that, because it's just ridiculous. And it's not like they're a new band, so like he was given the image before he joined the band. No, he joined the band, and then the paparazzi gave him this image, and then the band is like, oh wow, this is who he actually is. This whole time this man is struggling because he only just learned how to speak English. Like, how do these people not know that? They're with him 24 hours a day. But I still believe the character dynamics of every character, Sasha, Daniel, the band members who I don't remember, and then Daniel's sister, whose name I also don't remember. I feel like they were sufficiently fleshed out. They were pretty interesting characters. It was fine. 5 stars. Quick. It was just a quick and easy 5 stars. That's it. I don't have much thoughts on it. It was just cute. I recommend it. Next one, Witchlings by Claribel Ortega. I feel like if you're like in the middle grade sphere, or if you're just on book Twitter, you've been hearing a lot about this, and I have been hearing a lot about it, and that is why I requested the arc. So this story takes place in a fictional town called Ravenskill, a fictional witch town, called Ravenscale, where we follow 3 young witchlings, Seven, Thorn, and Valley. These 3 witches are placed in the Spear Coven and need to successfully complete the impossible task to get their coven sealed, which will allow them to become proper witches. Otherwise, they will be stuck as witchlings without magic for the rest of their lives. So this book was pitched as a Harry Potter replacement, and I was very interested in that because the fandom surrounding Harry Potter and the houses, that is so interesting. Harry Potter itself, not so much, but the fandom around the houses and the personality thing is kind of stupid, but it's also kind of interesting. So that's what we're supposed to get from Witchlings, right? Because the covens, the different covens, like the frog coven and the so and so, it was like, that's supposed to be a little cute thing, but we didn't really get that much in this book. The covens weren't that important in this book, and I know it's supposed to be a series because Claribel A. Ortega has said how the series is going to be a queer series, and it's going to, the queerness of the story is going to be expanded upon in the rest of the series, and then I suppose the covens are also going to be expanded upon in the rest of the series. So that's great. But for this first book, if that's what you're going in for, you're not gonna get it. I'm so sorry. I was disappointed, but it was okay. I gave this book 4 stars, right? I think Claribel A. Ortega did a great job of tackling difficult issues and topics such as growing apart from childhood friends and wanting to speak up when you're not directly involved in the situation and not knowing if it's your place to speak up. I think that she does a great job of tackling those issues while also keeping the overall atmosphere of the story, I want to say, because the impossible task, like, the book was just, it was a little bit whimsical, you know, it's a little fantasy with witches doing a kind of, it's cute, and I think that she did a great job of tackling those issues, actually having a great discussion about those, issues, without making it seem like, oh, nice fun story, let's have a chat, and then nice fun story. I feel like it was done well. I liked the magic system of the story, and I thought it was very well explained. My biggest issue with this book, why it didn't get more than 4 stars, was the swearing substitute in this book. The first 1 or 2 times it was a little bit funny, but throughout the whole thing, I was just getting annoyed. Like, at this point, like, I know it's a middle grade, just don't have them swear. Like, and then at some point, the swearing doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm trying to remember this one line that they had. It was like supposed to be like a hell substitute, and it just didn't work, and I found it so stupid, and it just annoyed me by the end of the book, right? So that's what I had about Witchlings. Next is My Mechanical Romance by Alexene Follmuth. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope that's how you pronounce it. When Belle proves to have a talent for engineering with a last-minute science project, she is practically forced by her teacher to join the robotics club. Belle struggles on the team as all the boys ignore her and the only other girl seems to hate her. The captain of the team is always butting heads with Belle, but as they spend time together working on the robots, and the captain, Matteo, teaching Belle all she needs to know about robotics, they start to fall for each other. So I gave this book 4 stars. It was a cute story, really quick. I enjoyed the development, the romantic development, and also the development of Belle discovering that she actually likes engineering and maybe wants to do this in the future. Belle as a character, I think she was just hilarious, likable, relatable. I don't know, I just loved her. Also, you know, I was just glad to see a character in high school who doesn't know what they want to do in high school, and also who doesn't really care at some point. Like, everybody is telling her to care and she doesn't care, and like, I like seeing that, because, you know, usually in the YA books when they follow somebody in high school close to college, it's like, oh, they wanted to do this from the very beginning, and then they had to overcome hurdles to do that. But like, what about the people who don't know what they want to do? What about the people who know what they want to do but like are not on the path to do it easily? Like, they're not getting top grades, and you know, I want to see more people like that, you know. I also felt like issues in this book were tackled respectfully while keeping the overall light-hearted tone of the story, so I felt that was well done. That's all I have to say. And the final book is Survive the Dome by Kosoko Jackson. This is about Jamal, who is an aspiring journalist and decides to document a rally protesting police brutality in Baltimore. which while he is there, the dome is implemented. The dome blocks entrance and exit for regular citizens, and Jamal is alone in Baltimore, where he meets Marco, a hacker who is keeping secrets, and Catherine, an AWOL basic training graduate whose missing parents help build the initial plans for the dome. These three decide to take their protest directly to the police chief, but they need everything in them to survive. So I get this book 3 stars, and I feel like I'm done with Kosoko Jackson. I think this is either the third, maybe. I think this is the third book by Kosoko Jackson, and all of them have been a low 3 stars. Just either a low 3 stars or 2.5 stars. The issue with this book is the same issue I have with all of his books. Great premise, lackluster delivery. I didn't like Jamal. His motivation was just so stupid. Like, this man is doing stuff because, oh, that's what a journalist would do. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, obviously he is, but I didn't need to see that repeated every single page. This man is like, oh, I'm gonna risk my life because I need the scoop, because that's what a journalist would do. Oh, I'm gonna find out Marco's secrets because I'm a journalist and journalists like to investigate. I'm like, boy, shut up. Shut up. And he's like, it was weak, it was stupid, and his reasoning in certain situations, that was very stupid. It didn't make any sense. Like he's doing things because he's a journalist, but he's also like reasoning out some other stuff, and it's just not making sense. 2 plus 2 is not equaling 4 with this guy, and I didn't like it. Also, the relationship between Marco, all of the development was off page, and I didn't see why they liked each other. Like, there was a little bit of development on page, and it was cute for a friendship, but I wasn't seeing the rumors like just because they're gay and they're 2 boys, they must fall in love. No, I didn't like it. And I felt like comps for this book, like what it was compared to, it never do it justice, because I feel like it was like Hunger Games or something thrown into it, and like some other something, and it wasn't doing it any favors, because this book was not anything like that. And I don't have anything else to say for Survive the Dome, because I didn't like, it was average. I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it enough to give it less than 3 stars. But that's all I have to say. Also, wait, before I say that, if you feel like commenting, tell me if you've read any of these books, and tell me what you thought of these books, or if you were interested in these books, and what your thoughts are, like if you're still going to read this book. And if you end up reading this book, come back and tell me what you thought. Or like find me on Goodreads or Storygraph or Twitter on Instagram. Also at Style Pages, and tell me what you thought, because I'm very interested in what you think, because maybe I'm just a hater at my core, and that's completely fine. But liking, commenting, and subscribing, do what you want. Bye.